Okay, today is October 30 and I'm inputting my journal entry. The subject of the day is my third video. Today is the third installment video of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. I had an initial reaction, then I had kind of just a light uh, uh, response to my first reaction, and then now after about 2.5 weeks, I've studied day in, day out this subject. I've written down lots of notes. I'm gathering information. I'm still deep in the study, but I feel like time is important here, and I do need to just document some of my thoughts. And this will probably help me build even more on my education over the topic. One perspective I find keen is that of, let's call it, moral relativity. You know, I hear a lot of people run into the wall, I would call it, of moral relativity, where their minds go blank at that point because it almost seems that everyone is guilty and there's no righteousness to be said in this very important current event that we have in front of us right now, and it almost leaves you with no opinion at all, which I think shouldn't be. I think everybody should have an opinion. And so the moral relativity that I'm referring to is that when people say, yes, of course it's not right for Israeli civilians to be killed, but of course it's not right for Palestinians either. All lives are equal. All lives matter. That leaves you with almost nothing else to be said. It gives you no justification. It gives you no insight. It just makes everything look relative. Like, yeah, that's bad, but that's bad too, right? We have to condemn both. So, is that actually true? Let's take an example from history. World War II. Germany, after their atrocities committed, criminal war atrocities against humankind, inhumane death camps, what did we have to do to eradicate the Nazis? Well, we did many things. Many people died, Americans and lots of civilians, more civilians than soldiers, over in Europe, as they bombarded Germany with unprecedented amounts of artillery and bombs. One great example is Dresden. The entire city was leveled and burnt to crisp. And if you just look at that and say all lives are created equally, you'll say Dresden is a Holocaust unto itself, right? But it's not. It was a response to a Holocaust. And nobody sits here and says Dresden was an atrocity. No one. It's completely gone because justice stands in the favor of the Allies. The Allies did what they had to do to eradicate the Nazis. That's the truth of it. So there's reason. There is the why to how Dresden was bombed and melted to death. Horrific, yeah, horrific scenes. But would it do you any good to say, oh yeah, you know, Nazis killed people, that's bad, but then we killed Nazis, that's also equally as bad? So the answer to that question is no, because you have to answer the why. If you just say lives are equal, this is like basically a semantic dead end, and it leaves you with nothing. There is the why. And I'll just look into the semantics of it alone. Just the word. Semantics means the play of words, how words themselves are symbolic, and language itself is a human invention that's very limited in its design, right? So let's look at just death itself. What are words that you can say for death? You can say a person passed away, right? That infers a peaceful, natural death. You can say a person was killed. Someone killed is kind of neutral. You don't know if it was premeditated. You don't know if it was a car accident. So killed is kind of a neutral word, right? It entails. Let's look at assassinated. That has a political connotation. Let's look at the word murdered. Murdered has the connotation of hatred and revenge. Termination, that's used for when a human dies. Termination is more of a clinical term. Someone was terminated. Look at the word executed. The word executed is refers to punishment, capital punishment, right? When it was justified by, we still have capital punishment in the United States, right? It's a justified death. This person did something so horrendous that they now deserve to die. That's there's justice implied by execution. You got to get out of that naive realism, and you do need to ask more questions. And how did it transpire? You have to look at the deaths, and to find equality in deaths, you have to find the reasons behind it. You have to dig, you have to do research, you have to look into history. And if you actually want to have an educated opinion, you can't just sit there and use wordplay. And so I'm going to stop the video on that one, because I feel like I'm going to keep it short. I want my ideas to be concise, and I'll come up with another video later on. But I'm going to just let that sit in my journal entry for today. Cheers.